Hi, I'm Josanne Wright Callender, the author of the Happy Little Garbage Truck picture book and educational program. Well, we're back. We've been traveling around, and it was a really nice time to take a little vacation. But I've been thinking about some of the topics that we were talking about before, and in particular, courage. And so, this next week coming up, I will share some of those thoughts with you. But to kind of recap, we were saying from Miss Hereford's article on Live a Life of Courage that this is a time definitely that we need to develop courage. It's just the way we were built. This is how we proceed through life with courage. And this article has been such a blessing to me because she gives 5 components that are pretty easy steps to take. And in our vlogs, I'll extrapolate and go into each one with a little bit more detail, but I'll give you the link to her article as well. So here are the 5 points. Dealing with fear, which we said was false evidence appearing real most times. A willingness to develop courage. Noting how it looks, and that was our last talk, looking at TV, movies, books, just in everyday life to find people who are acting with courage and emulating some of those key skills that they're exhibiting, and starting the process and develop faith. So today we're going to begin looking at starting the process. And it's just the way that we begin doesn't have to be huge, but starting is huge in of itself. So Miss Hereford suggests that we start small, but start somewhere. And so we'll talk more about that and how I really personally took this as a challenge in a good way to proceed through the next couple of things and projects that I'm working on. But I thought I'd come back to Maxwell Maltz's quote that she gave in her article. He said gave 2 points. One, we must have courage to bet on our ideas, to take the calculated risks, to act. And then the second point was everyday living requires courage. If a life is to be effective and if it is to bring happiness. So those are my 2 purposeful reasons for living a life of courage. But as I stated before, this courage, this type of courage, actually allows us to think for ourselves. And that's the key part that I'm, as a teacher, always working with to teach my students is critical thinking, thinking for oneself, teasing apart information, finding out what is truth by looking at several different outlets of information, and testing, sort of like a scientist, testing that hypothesis to see if it actually is true or if it, as they said in the old days, my parents would say, if that idea can hold water, like, or is it like a leaky bucket? So anyhow, we have to really think about each thing that we're bringing into our lives and see if it really does hold the truth that can be confirmed in so many different ways. So now this has to be exercised daily, and that is the challenge because there are 2 different fields that we can take our play to if we were talking about football or whatever. The first field is the comfort zone. And that's where a huge number of people like to hang out. And that comfort zone, think of cozy pajamas, a cup of coffee or tea in the morning, watching TV or reading a good book, curl up and not, letting the world pass you by and, staying safe. Well, that is something that we're going to come back to. Why do people want to stay in the comfort zone? Well, because it is safe. However, the unknown tends to be scary. That's the second field. The unknown, however, is the growth zone. So that's why we talk about leaving your comfort zone. And the problem with the comfort zone is that, and I'll talk more about this in the days to come, is it literally lulls our brain into a sleep mode. It lulls us into thinking that we're protecting ourselves, but the research seems to indicate that it puts our brain to sleep, and we don't want that. So it's time for us to take action to reach our goals and to help teach our children how to move forward from the routineness of everyday life to reach their goals. And this is how they can take action and, and, and become involved in that growth process, which helps develop courage. So, anyhow, we'll talk more about this next time and have a wonderful weekend. Good to be back with you and take care. Please share, please subscribe. Bye bye.